See if I can get this.
I pledge
It's here
allegiance.
somewhere.
There you go.
Got it? I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the republic for which it
which
stands,
stands one nation,
One nation,
under God,
indivisible,
visible,
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Hey. And I'm going to have Joe do the invocations today.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and the technology and skilled employees who enable to meet despite the COVID situation. We ask for your continued protection and wisdom upon the employees, citizens, and elected officials of our exceptional city. Amen.
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 Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks,
Okay,
Joe.
Mike, roll call.
Okay. Councilman Blevins.
here.
Councilman Schlack.
Present.
Councilman Valerius.
Present.
Councilwoman Syke.
She's muted.
There you go.
Okay, there she is. Got
Okay,
her.
I'm here.
All right, Councilman Lloyd.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lally.
Yeah.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening and any corrections?
I'll make the motion.
Motion,
So we
I'm
have to
sorry, you
make
made the motion.
With all the corrections.
So you're cutting out.
I make the motion with all the corrections, yes.
Okay, so we make a motion to correct?
Correct.
Yes, okay, second.
Second.
Second is Dan. All right.
Matt.
Correction to
Matt.
the agenda. Matt, I'm sorry, looking right at him, right? Dan V, it's a combination. All right, so we have corrections to the agenda. One of them is to remove resolution 1 to discuss the Allen Park High School senior send-off. We received an email indicating that they were withdrawing that request.
Okay.
And the other correction is to add a special meeting to review the status of the DPS building. That will occur on Wednesday, May 20th at 6 p.m.
Correct.
So we're adding that resolution for the special
Well-
meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Are there
So
any
Mayor,
further
we would
corrections?
just make that, Mayor, we would just
Right.
make R1 the special
Special
meeting,
meeting.
setting the special
Right.
meeting.
Right,
Perfect.
okay. So I just call for a vote to approve the amended agenda? Or do we
Nope,
have to have them?
we'll do a roll call. Okay.
Okay.
Is everybody set?
Mhm.
Okay, so there was a motion by Councilman Lally, supported by Councilman Valerius to approve the agenda with the aforementioned changes of R1. Shall we adopt the agenda as amended? Councilman Blevins,
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally,
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd,
Yes.
Mayor McLeod,
Yes,
Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke,
Yes.
and Councilman Valerius.
Yes.
The yeses have it. The agenda is adopted with the amended changes.
Thank you.
Next,
I have a motion to approve the minutes for April 28th.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius,
Second.
second by Mr. Schlack. Any corrections? Hearing none, if the clerk will call the roll.
all right, so I had a motion for the approval of the minutes by Councilman Valerius, supported by Councilman Schlack. Shall the minutes pass? Councilman Lally,
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd,
Yes.
Mayor McLeod,
Yes.
Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke,
Yes.
Councilman Valerius,
Yes.
and Councilman Blevins.
Yes.
The yeses have it. The motion is adopted.
Okay, move on to organizational business and the city administrator's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and the residents. The installation of the new water meters will now begin August. I think it's going to be August 1st or so. Even though we pushed that back, starting that back about 3 months, we're still going to continue to monitor that date and work with the installation contractor if there's any issues that come forth. And we'll see how that all plays out as we get a little bit closer to that timeline and getting access into the homes at that point. The street improvement millage, the contractor for that is GV Cement. Remove the old asphalt and concrete on Park Avenue. They started there at the intersection of Wick, and they'll be moving south towards Moore Road. They did get some of the Park intersection taken out, and they report some already, even though they just started yesterday. So they're trying to get that intersection back open as quickly as possible. They wanted to close the whole intersection, and Tom, which I agree wholeheartedly, would agree, and Chief Wilkowitz would not allow that to happen. If we'd known about it earlier, we might have been able to make arrangements for that, but the day of is just not appropriate. So they're going to be working in sections to get that intersection taken care of. Utility repairs, that contractor for us is GV, is Own Cement. And Mario and his crew are working on a list of repairs that resulted from previous water main breaks throughout the winter, and they've gotten started. They're making some quick headway as well. The street section, that is also Mario. They're going to start that program working on Blair Court, and it's going to be Blair Court from Northway Avenue to the complete cul-de-sac. And I believe talking to Mario and talking to Tom as well today, looks like they might be also doing some work on Northway Avenue as well. There's a couple sections that are pretty bad, and just kind of tie all it with one big project there. They'll then work on smaller sections throughout the city in various areas. And when we're doing the small sections, I'm talking probably they're trying to keep those in the range of, we used to do 20 by 20s or 10 by 10s, and we've gotten away from that a little bit and went more with a more impact. Tom has done an excellent job working with Mario to get that program really up and running and working on bigger sections. It's really made more of an impact on the streets and for the residents as well. We did have another DPS worker start last Monday. This is our third one. This replaces all of our employees that had either left or retired. So he's back up for that point to where he was at. There is a position in the budget if that's approved. This is not one of those positions. So that would be one in the future if the budget is approved for that. But this is Andrew Lozon. He started last Monday, and I did note that Andrew is a Allen Park resident, living here on I don't know what street he lives on. Leslie, I believe it was. But we welcome Andrew. And once we're able to be back in person, we'll get these employees in front of you. As we have 3 DPS employees, we have a police officer, and we'll get everybody in front of the mayor and council so you can put names and faces together. The Allen Park Public Library, they're working on a plan for curbside service and also for home delivery. The home delivery may be a little bit of an unusual turn here, a little twist there, is we're going to try possibly using the Parks and Recreation transportation staff. So I talk a lot of times about how the departments all kind of work together. This is where you start really seeing that happen. What had happened on that is we talked about this in the department head meeting. Sandy had mentioned the desire to do delivery. mentioned it to Tanya as well, and then we were able to talk to Pat Hawkins to see if that might work in. So we're going to be working with Sandy and Pat to see what kind of coordination we can come to get that all to work together for the betterment of all the residents. They'll be able to get some home delivery of books if they so desire. One of the programs that unfortunately has gone by the wayside for the 2020 season is the Downriver Senior Olympics. That was scheduled to be held in Brownstown, and they have canceled that event. I am going to still try to host a Downriver Senior Olympics when it comes to the baking aspects, because I will be volunteer to do the testing, and I'll pick those cakes up at different places. So if anybody wants to do that, pies, cakes, I'll be happy to judge all that stuff. So it's the least I can do, and I can see a couple of volunteers for some testing as for judging as well. So the DDA canceled all their events for the summertime as well. That wasn't unexpected. I think most of the Downriver communities are in that process now. Their only event they're going to be doing is the Farmers Market, which will resume on July 10th, and they will be following some social distancing rules with strict enforcement on those. I did see the path that Jennifer is working with the marketing committee to make sure will work for the all the vendors and participants. And looking at that, I think it'll definitely work. And I know Chief LaFont has been involved in a lot of that stuff. Has been involved in making sure that we follow those rules, and has been able to offer a lot of advice to all the department heads. And then we already did this. We asked for a special council meeting. I know that's on the agenda for the next item there after we do our participation. So that'll be a meeting to discuss the DPS facility and getting some request some approvals so we get moving on that project. I mentioned Deputy Chief Can. I always mention Deputy Chief LaFont and the efforts that they've been taking on to do the COVID-19, and both of those guys have done an excellent job. But I think I want to recognize Ed. He's really helped step up and Chief LaFont's behalf. As Chief's been able to now to focus a little bit more on the grant aspects and reimbursement programs that are going on. Ed has a little bit different role at the fire department, taking on some of the chief's responsibilities to a certain extent. And I just want to recognize Ed Can for his out. And again, I'll mention time and time again, the team effort that happens here at AllenPark is second to none. We have some of the best department heads around, and they all work together. Don't get me wrong. There might be some underlying here or there that they get upset with each other once in a while, but for the most part, set all those aside, do what's best for the community, and I can't say enough about all of them. They are top notch.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent comment. The teamwork that's going on here. I have to tell you, when you talk to or hear about some other communities, I'm not sure that they are as well served as we have been during this time. Does anybody have any comments or questions of Mark on his report?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Can you hear
See
me?
ya. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't get a chance in the previous meeting to ask a couple questions. One of the first things is, hey Mark, is the library completed with the heating and cooling units?
I believe they're very close. I don't know the percentage, but I would say probably saying the 90 to 95% range. I understand. We still have to address the outside exterior issues that have not been addressed yet.
Okay, good, because I know you and I had talked about it and we just never got back, and I drove by the building again. I mean, to me, it looks like it's on life supports. I'm really
Yeah.
hoping
I
that
was
we
just-
can change that, because we
You're right.
Put a little mask over it.
had a beautiful, mid-century modern building, and now it's got all this stuff on it. So this is going to be around for a while until we can replace it. So
Yeah, and Councilwoman, thank you. You sent me after the budget hearing some information on metal panels, so I did share that with Dave Boomer. We unfortunately being able to get out and close to work together for people out there. We've had some internal discussions on what needs to be done. I know Dave has talked to the contractor, and they're working on a few ideas as well. Unfortunately, with everything, we haven't been able to coordinate an on-site meeting just yet. Hopefully that'll happen here within the next couple weeks and be able to get all that wrapped up and addressed.
Okay, good, because I was really, I almost cried when I saw it, to be honest with you. I was really like that building in our city. And then the other, oh, that was it. Wait a minute. Yeah, that was it. Oh, no, wait, I do have another thing. The reason why I was late getting on is because I was actually looking at another packet that we had. We're supposed to be getting regular updates on the COVID. Is there a way to do that at this
The
time?
mayor does it.
What
The
were
mayor-
you looking at?
Just an update. I'm not really sure. We had a thing where he said he was going to update us on what was happening in our emergency plan. When do we expect to open? What is our plan for opening
Yeah.
back up? Are there those things? Because I would assume, because like I said, you had shifted your the emergency manager over to the fire chief, and then I would like to hear what's going on just in generalities where we're at this time. I know we applied for a oh shoot, what is it called? A grant. And so I just, in general, because we gave you, we talked about it before a couple meetings ago. So I'd like to have a update, and if not now, maybe you could we could do it next meeting, or maybe you could talk a little bit today.
Yeah, I just tried to promote the Chief LaFon, and I don't see where he's at now.
You got him.
You got him? Okay, I can't see him on mine I'll have to go back. So I'll yield to him in a minute. So we had planned on looking to open up to the public around the 18th of this month. They opened up the construction last Thursday, so we figured there's be a little bit of an influx of traffic and so forth on that. With the latest governor's order, put it back to the 28th. The earliest I think we'll be able to open up at this point in time would be June 1st. I don't think it's wise to open up on a Friday. Just assume we'll open up on the Monday. So June 1st would be that tentative date at this point in time. We're still trying to make some changes here in City Hall to glass installed in all the windows. Remember, all those 5 windows were open. They now have glass in all, with the exception of one. The most important one is the treasurer's window, and unfortunately, the gate is stuck. So Matt Baker, Dave Boomer have been working diligently to try to get it resolved and be able to take that engine out or that motor out and replace it is what the problem is. So once they get that resolved, we'll be able to put the window in, and that'll be everybody will have glass in front of those partition windows. So it's was one thing we talked about early on in the design of this building. We tried to avoid it because we felt that the public would still want to have that open feeling and not have to worry about think of it as a safety issue where it's bulletproof glass or some sort of between the people, looking for that personal contact. Unfortunately, personal contact at the point is maybe gone by the wayside. So safety is at the paramount, and that'll be installed as soon as involved. And then they have been ordering the decals for the floor. Signs have been made for the various doors and stuff like that. So we're trying to do everything we can, but we'll be a couple more weeks out from that. I'm going to yield to Chief LaFon. I got to figure out how I can see him because I cannot see him at all.
Are we going to be
he's there,
installing those plexiglass in the Parks and Rec too?
Yeah, they're working on that as well. They did put some plexiglass in there, and we may look at making that something a little bit more of a permanent aspect there. Probably the only one being maybe temporary plexiglass remaining would be the DPS, just given the fact that we may not be there in less than a year or a little over a year.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and yield to Chief LaFon.
You need to go out? Huh? Wanna go outside?
I'm good.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Deputy Chief Can and myself been working closely with Mark and all the other department heads. We have a plan. It's just a matter of getting all the pieces in place before various things open. DPS and water are back to full operations. We've supplied all the different city departments with the appropriate PPE. And obviously, there's different situations in every department. So we made a plan of what employees have to wear N95s, which should wear surgical masks, who needs gloves, who needs eye protection, all these things. And luckily, we've been pretty good with our procurement process between all the different sources we have for donated materials. And Deputy Chief Can was like a honey badger and rooted us out a whole bunch of masks and different things that we purchased. So we're in pretty good shape. We get a weekly statement from countywide, and as far as the size of our city, we're well far and above what everybody else is supplied with right now. So we're doing good there. We already did receive, I think we had spoke about it before, almost $16,000 from Medicare that they just deposited in our account, and that was essentially to help us with PPE for our ambulance service. So I've been compiling, I have to come up with the appropriate amount of receipts to offset that amount. And then as soon as we have that amount completely offset, then I will start compiling receipts for what is called the CARES grant, which is through Homeland Security, and it is more wide-reaching than the Medicare money we have. The Medicare money can only be used towards things that we use on the ambulances. The CARES grant can be used for anything that we implement or purchase that will protect our employees or the general public. So that could include things we're hoping, like the glass partitions that are going in. That's still a gray area, but I attend weekly or bi-weekly webinars and things on that too, and they're trying to convince DHS that should definitely be a covered cost. So we're hoping that gets covered. Well, there's a lot of other expenses that we'll be able to charge that too, and that is a 75% reimbursement on that. The Medicare one was a 100% reimbursement. And if all else fails, I have an AFG grant I can fall back on too, but I don't think I'm going to have to. It's due this Friday, and it was only for fire department expenses, which we pretty much covered all that under the Medicare grant. So I think between the CARES and the Medicare money, this whole thing, at least for as far as expenses of what we've spent for PPE and for any special overtime, can be covered by the CARES grant. Also, like one of our firefighters is on the Down the River logistics team, and he put in about 20 or 25 hours helping Region 2 South, which is our medical or federal medical region, helping them distribute PPE. So that'll all be covered under the CARES grant. Any backfill, like we had one of our firefighters the other day that had flu-like symptoms, we sent him in for testing. Luckily, he was negative, but the overtime that was created to backfill him, I can charge back to the CARES grant because we were following current CDC guidelines. So that will be covered, and some of the police officers had the same situation. So when all's said and done, our expenses really shouldn't be crazy for this whole thing. We won't be that much out of pocket. It's more of a revenue issue, I think, at this point, as you all know, with the sales tax and and stuff like that. And actually, we did get a little bit of good news. Medicare has decided to, or Medicaid, one of the two, has decided to cover any transports that we made of COVID positive patients that were uninsured. So normally we would have to either take a loss on that or we would have to put them in collections. As long as we signed off and said we would take what they pay, which I think is $375, which is less than what we normally charge, but we ended up getting a lot more in pocket than I think if we had to chase these people down for the money. So that was a big boost too, because obviously there was a lot of uninsured people that we transported. The only other issue we have is our overall transports are actually down because people are afraid to go to the hospital. And I want to reiterate what the CDC has been telling everybody and getting out there. People shouldn't be afraid to go to the hospital. If they have legitimate medical issues, they got to be keeping up on, if they have doctor's appointments, they got to be keeping up on taking their medications. And if they do have medical issues such as chest pain or something that's emergent in nature, they really do have to call us. We sanitize our ambulances after every run. They won't catch COVID in our care, let's put it that way. And I know that the hospitals have segregated the emergency rooms to the point where there should be very little danger of them contracting the disease there also. So we would definitely want to get that out there, that people shouldn't be afraid to call us, because our overall non-COVID medical runs, not so much the run totals aren't really down. We're still going the same amount of runs, but our transports are down because we just can't convince people to go to the hospital. So just want to get that out there. And so if you have any friends that, you know, are saying they're afraid to go, or if they're having issues or whatever, tell them don't be afraid to go. They've got to get medical treatment. They'll end up, you know, dying from something like heart disease or something, you know, during the middle of this would be a shame.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, unless Ed can add. You anything to add, Ed, over there? Ed has nothing. He yelled over the wall at me. So
I do want to add one thing. Talking about this, working together. Chief LaFawn was notified they were looking for, CDC was looking for a site for test. We called over, we made sure that the recreation center would be available, and we put the recreation center in for that. They were not selected. They actually selected the Dearborn Performing Arts Center, more for its central location for Western Wayne as well. But again, we called over, got a call from Chief LaFawn. I called over to Pat. Pat gave the okay, gave Chief LaFawn the okay, and just again working together. It makes me very proud to work with these guys again. I know I just said that again before, these ladies and gentlemen, but again, everybody working together, it makes it for a better Allen Park.
I actually, Mark, I do have one more thing. We had some good news today on that testing. Originally, the CDC is coming into two areas, in New York City and in Wayne County, Michigan. The only two areas in the country they're going, and they're testing a new antigen test, which shows whether or not you have the antibodies for COVID-19. It would show that you've had the disease in the past at some point. They're using these two areas as a test bed.
Somebody left the corn on the stove.
Like the fire station, right? So anyway, so they're using these two areas to test. They're saying this test is 99% accurate. If it is on the verge of being FDA approved, and they were going to test paramedics and firefighters in these two jurisdictions, and so we obviously signed up, and that was what we were offering our community center for. It was Region 2 South, it's called, which is Western Wayne, Downriver, Monroe County, and Livingston County. Dearborn beat us out, which is fine because it would have been a lot of extra work, but we wanted to be team players. So that's okay. Our Dearborn brothers can work their butts off on it. But the good news we got today is they're also going to include law enforcement officers. So I literally had to email them back within 10 minutes of receiving the email. So now all of our police officers will also be able to be tested for this. It's completely free. Will be a part of this study, and there'll be follow-up in the future, possibly retesting down the road, and we're going to be part of this big, huge nationwide study, but only using obviously these two really affected areas. So we're pretty proud to be part of all that.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Are there any other questions on the administrator's report? Since we just got some great input from the chief, you know, when we get our packages, we get a lot of reports from the different departments, and I would encourage you all to read them because many of them contain some very, very interesting information, and it might give us some insight as to what's going on in our departments. And we get some very detailed reports, in particular from the fire department. And I always manage to find something in there where I have a question as to a house fire or something of that nature. And I noticed that they've got one of their firefighters who is on assignment with the National Guard for 13 months. And I think he's over in Afghanistan, if I recall correctly, but
He's on his way there. He got stuck in New Mexico. The military went on shutdown right when he shipped out, so he's been in New Mexico for 6 weeks.
Matt Gary, does that sound familiar?
Nice. Gee, what a nice layover. 6-week layover in New Mexico.
Military, sit and wait.
okay, well, if there's no further questions, can I have a motion to accept and file the city administrator's report?
Motion.
motion by
Gary.
Gary. I don't see. Second, please.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Syke. Will the clerk please take the vote?
All right, Mayor, I have a motion by Councilman Schlack, supported by Councilwoman Syke, to approve the updates, reports, documents, submissions. We'll start, shall this pass? Councilman Lloyd,
Yes.
Mayor McLeod,
Yes.
Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke,
Yes.
Councilman Valerius,
Yes.
Councilman Blevins,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Lally.
Yeah.
The yeses have it. The resolution is adopted.
Okay, now we come to public comment section. Do we have anybody out there who would like to comment?
Mayor, if you could
So
just,
if there's any, yeah, okay, if there's
Thank you.
anyone out there in attendance who wants to speak, please raise your hand so that our moderator can recognize you. I believe there's 3 dots over to the right of your screen, upper right, and one of them is a raise hand. So if you would like to be recognized and speak, please use that.
okay, I do not see anybody raising their hand.
Yay.
And we'll give a couple more seconds in case somebody's looking for the 3 dots. Okay, move on then. Doesn't appear anybody wanted to public comment. We'll move to the consent agenda. I have a motion to accept and to approve the consent agenda, which is purchasing actions, claims and accounts, and the payroll report, and the finance actions, the April 2020 finance overview, budget to actual report, balance sheet, and cash flow.
Tony Lally makes a motion.
Thank you, Tony.
Support Charles.
Charles, support.
Close. Yep.
Okay, so I have Lally with the motion and Blevins with the support. If you will take the vote, please.
All right, so I got a motion with Pro Tem Lally, supported by Councilman Blevins, to adopt the consent agenda, which includes claims and accounts, payroll report, and all the finance actions for April 2020. Shall this be adopted, Mayor McLeod?
Yes.
Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke,
Yes.
Councilman Valerius,
Yes.
Councilman Blevins,
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally,
Yes.
and Councilman Lloyd.
Yes.
The yeses have it. It is adopted. Next item,
Okay.
Mayor.
The next item on the agenda is resolutions, and we have resolution 1, which is to hold a special meeting on Wednesday, May 20th at 6 p.m. in order to review the status of the DPS project. And I have a motion to hold that meeting.
Motion Lloyd.
Motion Lloyd, thank you.
Second, Valerius.
Seconded by Mr. Valerius. We have a vote, please.
Okay.
Don't we have discussion?
Do we want to discuss it?
I didn't get in some of the stuff I wanted to say in the meeting. When we do this meeting, could I have, this would be to Mark, may I have a scalable drawing? A
Yeah, we'll
copy of
be
the plan too?
Yeah, we'll be sending all that out. This is for the civil work.
You're
time.
breaking up, Mark. You
I'm
broke
sorry.
up.
Yeah, we'll have drawings. We'll have a packet of information we'll be sending out to all the council people prior to the meeting.
Okay, I would just like to make sure I could scale stuff off of it or have enough annotation to understand the drawing.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, then, Mike, if you'll take the vote.
Okay, I had, we'll start with, shall we adopt the special meeting? Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke,
Yes.
Councilman Valerius,
Yes.
Councilman Blevins,
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally,
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd,
Yes.
and Mayor McLeod.
Yes.
All right, it will be posted and made aware by the public. Motion adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 2. Resolution to ratify the city administrator's action regarding the contract award for the required sanitary sewer relocation that is part of Wayne County's Allen Road Bridge reconstruction to Dan's Excavating for a maximum amount of $200,165. Funding for this project will be from Basin Fund Account 592-603-985.000 and waive the city bid process, APCO 2-824-5, emergency in nature. May I have a motion to accept the resolution, to approve the resolution?
I'll make the motion, Tony Lally.
Thank you, Tony.
Good.
Second, please.
Second, Lloyd.
Thank you, Dan. Are there any questions?
I do.
Yeah, let me go. Mayor, do you want me to go over the project real fast?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a project that came about because of the Wayne County is going to be replacing the Allen Road Bridge in front of Thunderbolt over the Ecorse Creek. There is a sanitary sewer line that currently goes under the creek and only services 4000 Allen Road, which is the old AT&T building, which is now International Wholesale. So the line, we were told at one point, and I've got Tom and Sohail here to jump in as well, but we were told when they were going through the initial portion of the drawings that we would not be affected. No water sewer lines would be affected. Come to find out, after they redid some drawings and looked for location for footings, the sanitary sewer line is directly under where one of the footings needs to go for the new culvert. So it requires the relocation of this line. So there's a couple different options, which was to go back and do directional bore and go under the creek one more time, which would require an easement again from Wayne County, or to just avoid going into the creek altogether and follow the creek line in the parking lot of Thunderbolt using an easement that would be granted from Thunderbolt, which we decided to go that route. It was an easier route, and we were able to get that easement from Thunderbolt lanes at no cost. Because of the timing of getting this project started and trying to get bid and awarded and under construction and not affect the Wayne County project, timing just doesn't allow for that. So we worked with Sohail Sebek, our city engineer from Cedar Rains. He went ahead and got all the drawings ready, everything set to go, got bids from Dan's Excavating and also contacted Paymar Enterprises. Both those companies are rather large companies. The contractor for this project is actually going to be Dan's Excavating, and they were able to give us a bid. Paymar did not. So initial bid from Dan's Excavating came in somewhere around $220,000. Estimate from $248,000. So we were, under what we would have expected to pay. Unfortunately, more than what we want to pay, because we don't want to do the project at all, but we have to. So in that meantime, Sohail did contact Dan's about the bypass portion. They had $40,000 allocated towards bypassing. After talking to Sohail, they don't necessarily think they would need to do the bypass. They might be able to do it without doing the bypass. If that's the case, save us $40,000. If they do have to do it, it'll be time and materials not to exceed $20,000. So the new price for the project would be anywhere between $180,000, $165,000, and $200,000, $165,000. We're hoping for the $180,000. And for all reasons, we don't want to spend any more money than we need to. So in order to get this project started in all the processes with Wayne County, we went ahead and gave them told them to go ahead and get started last week. I know we're only talking about a week, But in the time of trying to get documents scheduled and things back into the right people's hands, that time is valuable, especially considering on this project at the end of May. So we need to get it in, completed, and not affect Wayne County. If we do affect Wayne County, we could be liable for delay charges. So that's what we're trying to avoid. And that's why I'm asking now to ratify that action. If the council doesn't ratify, I'll be working for free for you for the next couple of years from that point. But I think that it was a valid enough reason to go ahead and move forth because we want to get this project started and underway and wrapped up before they start the bridge project. I'm going to see if Tom or Sohail, Pam, you do have a couple questions.
Yeah, I always have questions when it comes to this stuff. So I want to make sure we're servicing one person, right? So it's like an 8-inch. Is that what we're doing? I can't really.
I think it's a 12-inch, Pam.
It's a 12-inch? Okay. And it only services one person, right?
Correct.
One left. Right?
Yep, currently, remember the old, was it a restaurant there where we demoed it a few years back? It would also serve that if we sell that for anything.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a Forgione building.
Yeah, that it would service that also if something were to build there.
Okay. And then who was Palomar? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. I don't understand. Are they the ones doing? Yeah. Are they the ones doing the work on the bridge itself from county?
No,
Dan's or is it all Dan's
Excavating will be doing the bridge project. Paymar did the 4th Street project a couple of years ago in Southgate, Wyandotte, and Riverview. One of paving companies that MDOT has used numerous times.
Okay, and so basically Dan's one out, and he's also the contractor for. We're piggybacking. Okay.
Correct.
I got it.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember why it was an emergency.
Right. This will change. So what it'll do to it'll alter the Wayne County contract. The Wayne County is going to let us piggyback their contract and use Dan's. It'll alter their contract to allow that to happen. We had met with what is her name? It's a movie star's name.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Taylor.
I have her email.
Yes.
February 6th, we met in that conference room.
Yeah, we tried to get them to pay for this.
I'll call you later.
They didn't have anything. They didn't want anything.
I'm in the meeting right now.
Put it on mute.
But Elizabeth Taylor is the Wayne County contact for this, so she'll be altering that contract to allow for this project to be to start if council approves it.
And then is Wayne County going to inspect the installation?
No, we will through
We will?
Bocelli
Okay.
Services.
Okay, thank you. That's my questions.
There's a question in the chat. I don't know. Does this impact an additional businesses or just still the same just 4,000 Allen Road?
Currently 4,000 Allen Road, but as I said, potentially a new business if it were to be built there.
Okay.
So basically, this is a stub now, right?
Correct. It's one stick
Correct.
or one stub.
And we looked. I
And
know. So
we won't be using it for our building, right?
I'm sorry, our building?
Our DPS building, we won't be
No,
using
it's,
that.
that's in a different area.
Okay. Okay. No. 12 inches is big, Dan, by the way.
No, it's actually it's an 8-inch installation. Pam. It's an 8-inch pipe.
Yeah, that's big. Bubba.
Oh, it's an 8-inch pipe? Okay.
Yes.
It's not that big.
So how
I
did look at
you a joke one time about that, Dan, but I can't say it on.
No, you can't.
It's not out of that little book of yours.
Be nice.
No, I've been.
I can hardly wait till we do the tour of the wastewater facility plant. Then we're really gonna have fun.
Can I? I'm excited.
Well, actually, it is quite interesting, but you're gonna probably find it more interesting than anybody else, and I'll probably learn something from you as we go. I'll start asking you questions.
Let me go back.
We'll ask Tom questions because he's much more knowledgeable than I.
Oh.
So Hal
Okay,
did-
are there any other questions?
Yeah, let me- I
We're
just
good
wanna
on
say-
this?
Yeah, so Ohio did look at other options to see if there was any other cheaper alternatives. Unfortunately, the way that that line is and where the international wholesale building is, you'd actually have to drop down and need a pump station to get it to get this back into the next line, which would be across Allen Road, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Just not a viable option.
no,
No.
no.
Okay.
Good choice. I'm good.
Okay, any other questions? Well, then we'll take a vote.
All right, we had a motion by Pro Tem Lally, supported by Councilman Lloyd. Shall the payment to Dan's Excavating be approved? Councilwoman Syke,
Yes.
Councilman Valerius,
Yes.
Councilman Blevins,
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally,
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd.
Yes.
Mayor
Yes.
McLeod,
Yes,
and Councilman Schlack.
Yes.
The yeses have it, motion is adopted.
okay, now we have other business. And eventually we'll get this process all sorted out. May I have a motion to authorize the third reading by title only of the proposed ordinance number 01-2020.
Motion, Lloyd.
Motion by Lloyd,
Second.
support by Schlack. Okay, and we vote on this for the third reading, Mike?
Okay, yep. Mayor, I have a motion by Councilman Lloyd, supported by Councilman Schlack for the third reading of proposed ordinance number 1-2020, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Employee Benefits, Division 2, Employees Retirement System, Subdivision 2, Board of Trustees, Section 2-232, establish composition and duty to modify the manner in which the retirement trustee is designated to the board. Shall the third reading pass? And we'll start with Councilman Valerius.
Yes.
Okay, Councilman Blevins,
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally,
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd,
Yes.
Mayor McLeod,
Yes,
and Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Syke.
Yes.
The yeses have it. The motion is adopted. You may go into the public hearing now.
okay, what you did was considered reading, is that correct?
That is it.
Okay,
So
thank
our
you.
third reading is done.
All right, so may I have a motion to open the proposed ordinance for the public reading?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius. Support?
Second by Tony Lally.
Thank you, Tony. We are now open for public hearing on proposed ordinance number 01-2020, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 4, Employee Benefits.
1 second, Mayor. Let's do a quick roll call to validate
We just
the.
do the. Didn't we just do a roll call vote to approve the reading in public hearing?
No, that was,
Well, we did it.
We're
That was
doing
just
it
to approve the
separately.
reading.
Now we're doing to open the public hearing. We have to vote on opening the public hearing?
Yes.
Oh, that wasn't what, I have to add that to my script.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we went that route to make it more official. So all we're doing is opening up for comments, and motion by Valerius, supported by Lally. Councilman Blevins.
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally,
Yes.
Councilman Lloyd,
Yes.
Mayor McLeod,
Yes,
Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilman Syke,
Yes.
and Councilwoman, or Councilman Valerius? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, now, Mayor, you may open the public hearing.
Okay. Is there anybody out there who wants to comment on this ordinance? Please raise your hand using the little icon that's available to you.
And Mayor, I added Bob Katie just in case you may want to ask him any questions.
If there's any questions.
Yeah, Bob Katie's been added to the panel. Any questions?
All right, I'll repeat. You indicated that Bob Katie would be answering any questions. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's in the room. He's a panel.
Okay, you're cutting out.
Gotta get you a gamer headset, Mark.
I know, no kidding.
I don't think there's any public.
Just to clarify, correct, Bob, this is something that has been asked by the retirement board so that it comes in line with a new ordinance to ultimately save them money so that they can use our audit. That is correct. They're asking for us to do this to save them money.
That's correct. In order to save about $13,000 for an additional audit that's already part of the city's audit, we need to make sure that the city has 4 of the 7 votes on the board. And this action that you're taking by approving this ordinance would have the council affirm that 4th vote, which is the one that has to be agreed upon by the union employees and the city appointed board members, which would then go to, that's the 7th vote, which would go to council for ratification. And then if council didn't ratify, it would go back to the board and they would pick somebody else until council ratifies. So it's really, you're saving the pension system $13,000 a year and you're gaining control of the 4th vote on the board.
Very good.
Well, since there doesn't appear to be any public hearing or anyone forthcoming, we can move on to, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion, Charles.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
Charles.
Dan.
Evans. Second, Van Lloyd, correct? Or was it Valerius? Who seconded?
Oh, Dan's got it.
Dan Lloyd.
Dan Lloyd.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna start keeping score over here.
So, now we have to vote on closing the public hearing?
Yep, and we'll start
Yes.
with Pro Tem Lally.
Yes.
This is just to close the public hearing. Councilman Lloyd.
Yes.
Danny.
Okay, Mayor McLeod.
Yes.
Keith there. Yes.
Councilman Schlack.
Yes.
Wipe the tears from their eyes.
Councilwoman Syke.
Yes.
Councilman Valerius.
Yes.
Councilman Blevins.
Yes.
Okay, the yeses have it. Now, Mayor, we are going to need a motion and a support, but I'm going to read it for the final time, and then we'll need it for the motion and support for adopt, okay? So we're going to have the final
Okay,
reading
now
of
do we need a
ordinance number
motion and support for final reading?
1-2020.
Okay.
You gotta read it first.
No.
Yeah.
Yep. Can
He
you
knows,
guys hear
Tony.
me?
We
Okay.
seem to have a little lag here. Yeah. I think we've got
Can
a
you
lot of
guys hear
cutting
me
in and
better?
out, Mike. I can hear you now.
Is that better?
Yeah.
You're good, Mike.
Well, we hear you asking if it's better, but I don't hear you doing the
Okay.
final reading.
Okay, just going. Okay, so the final reading of ordinance number 1-2020, an ordinance amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 4, Employee Benefits, Division 2, Employees Retirement System, Subdivision 2, Board of Trustees, Section 2-232, establish composition duties to modify the manner in which the retirement trustee is designated to the board. That is the final reading now, Mayor. I would entertain, I would ask for a motion to adopt it.
To adopt, right.
Tony Lally
May I
makes
have
a
a motion
motion
to
to
adopt
adopt it.
this ordinance? Tony Lally and Gary Schleck,
Motion.
seconds. We take a roll call.
Okay, so I have a motion by Pro Tem Lally, supported by Councilman Schlack, for the adoption of ordinance 1-2020. It is clearly stated, shall this ordinance pass? Councilman Lloyd.
Yes.
That.
Mayor McLeod.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Schlack.
Yes.
Councilwoman Syke.
Yes.
Councilman Valerius.
Yes.
Councilman Blevins.
Yes.
And Pro Tem Lally.
Yes.
The yeses have it. The ordinance 1-2020 is adopted and shall be published in the paper as prescribed by law. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm feeling as though, before we get to council comments, I'm feeling as though we're part of one of those TV programs where they are trying to interview somebody who's over in Europe, and you've got about a 15 to 20 second lag between the time the question gets asked and the person on the other side of the ocean hears the question. So we need to be a little patient on that. We'll start with council comments, and tonight our leadoff hitter is Pamela Syke.
Well, thank you. Figures it'd be my time would be a bad technology day. But anyway, first I would like to say something to the graduates. I thought we would start with that. Congratulations to whoever's graduating, whether it be from a high school, a college. Job well done. You've demonstrated that, you know, you stuck with it, you learned, you demonstrated that you have you did what you had to achieve the knowledge to be bestowed a degree. And congratulations. In today's society and anywhere, knowledge is power. And you can always learn, and learning doesn't stop when you graduate high school or a degree, and you can always learn from any of the people that you were associated with. I'll tell you, when I graduated high school, no way did I think I would be sitting here being a councilwoman. That was never part of, I was going to be an architect, to be honest. And so you saw where my my things went. And you don't necessarily have to be college bound. There are lots of people who make great money doing our trades. In fact, that's an area that you might want to consider, because in the coming years, we're not going to have as many. But one of the things I also want to say to all you graduates is seize the day, grab life with both hands and go for it. Don't be afraid to go out and try, because if you, everything you do, whether it's you do it right, you do it wrong, any person that you meet, there's a lesson to be learned, and you take all that and you make that into yourself. And then my last word of advice is live small. Don't spend a lot of money on things that you don't really need, and travel, because travel just, it enlarges your life. It makes so much you a more interesting and better person, traveling, learning other people, getting to know them. So those are my things on graduation. Congratulations again. And then I'm really kind of sad that we're not having our Memorial Day parade on the 17th, but I understand it. So with that being said, I don't have a flag to fly half-mast. However, I will be decking out my front yard and my door in red, white, and blue in honor of all the veterans that have served us and served us well for this great country. And so I am going to show my expression of that gratitude with decking out the front yard in red, white, and blue. And I hope that my fellow Allen Parkers will do the same, and really show that we value our veterans. Because last year's ceremony, Mayor, was just really wonderful. It was over at where the hospital used to be, and it was just so moving. And so I really, those are my comments for tonight. Thank you. Stay well, stay safe. As we come out of this, make sure you keep your social distancing, make sure you wear your mask, because you are valued. We value you. And thank you. And that's all I have to say for tonight.
Okay. Next is Mr. Valerius.
All right. Kind of to piggyback off Pam's, this is a time usually where we celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates and our seniors, and those not only in high school, but moving on in K through 8, and as well as colleges. And I know it's hard to be that class, here it's, 2020, and everyone was looking forward to celebrating the accomplishments of this class. And it's a sad time, but we as we have shown the resilience, your resilience to finish the year strong despite the changes and the sacrifices you've been asked to make, and the events that are canceled and you might not be able to enjoy. I congratulate you as Councilwoman Syke did. It doesn't diminish your accomplishments. It doesn't take away from what you've done and your achievements. And it's important for you to recognize that. I know they're mere words, but right now that's kind of all we have. And my hope and prayers go along with you as you move on to the next chapters in your lives, whether it be college or trade school. The celebration is there for us in our hearts and souls for you, and our hopes that that. I just to end, I love poetry. I used to write poems all the time. This isn't mine. I wish I could claim this as mine, but I just wanted to read a short poem by a gentleman by the name of Joseph Rinaldi. It says, "Today we face the trying times of heartache and pain. Many hopes and dreams are shattered, and prayers seem to be in vain. With the hope of peace diminishing, the heart has no definitive song. We waited for an end to hostilities, but the struggle seems so long. Yet there is hope for the future. Liberty and freedom are still in command, but God will make the ultimate decisions. He will evaluate our worldly demands, and he holds the future in his grasp. Why should we despair? He mourns and counts every tear, and he hears and reviews every prayer. So in saying that, my prayers are with everyone, all the graduates, Allen Park, my fellow council members, the dedicated workers of the city of Allen Park, all department heads, everyone working so hard, fire department, our first responders, all the people working on the front lines, everyone. You have my heartfelt thanks, my heartfelt admiration, and my heartfelt prayers. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, Matt. Next is Gary Schlack.
Well, I just wanted to, you hear me, everyone? Okay. It's hard to always follow Matt. Matt always seems to do a wonderful job in reciting that poem. I want to echo everything he said. And to know that our students out there that graduated, it's a great accomplishment. I remember when I graduated, everything seems like the wide world's open, and that's so true. And I know it might not seem that way with COVID, but it's truly not the end of the road. It's just the beginning. So don't shut yourself off for opportunities. Definitely look at all avenues. Don't cross anything off, because the world's bright. And I know we passed Mother's Day, and I don't know if I said something or not last time, but I did want to give a shout out to all the mothers that are there, and I'm sure you want to celebrate with your children and grandchildren, and I'm sure you'll get that chance soon. So just be patient further and stay healthy, social distance, and God bless. And I will talk to you in a week at a special meeting. Actually, do we get a comment at a special meeting, or name, or what is the protocol for that?
You know, I haven't
it'll be a
looked
regular meeting, 'cause we
at
have
an
to
agenda
vote.
for a special meeting in a while. Yeah. So we'll have to see what's on
That's all
the
I-
agenda.
Sounds fantastic.
Okay, Charles, you're up next.
Well, first off, I can't wait to see you guys in person, because the Zoom and the lagging and all that stuff, and then plus my laptop is just keeps going on and off. But so trying some positive notes I've read on social media that our Allen Park High School got ranked top 12 in Michigan. So some good news with that. AP SAT scores were ranked 3rd in Downriver. Thank you to our first responders for what you guys do. It feels like forever, but it's only been 2 months since the shutdown. Another thing I looked up right before our meeting, the census, 79% of Allen Park did it. 10 years ago it was 80%, so we're almost there of getting to our 10 years. To the students of 2020 that are graduating, someone who's young, and this would have been my 10-year reunion. Of course, got canceled, but I just want to say congrats to all the class of 2020. I still hope to see on our marquee at the Dollar Show that says congrats from the city council. Again, trying to be creative, going outside of the box. Lately, I've been going on these like 10, 20-mile walks in our city, and if you really observe, if you go down the streets, especially between like how beautiful some of these houses are. I've seen some of you when going for my walks too. It's just the creativity that Allen Park has, like Councilwoman Syke was saying about decorating the houses. I would love this with Easter, they decorated the houses with rainbow colors and the cross and or Happy Easter or something. And it would just be, I encourage also for everyone to decorate the sidewalks, the windows, everything with red, white, and blue for Memorial Day, flags out, just something so that it's positive in our city. So when you drive down the streets or walk down the streets, it's just something that really, something inspiring. It was great to see today. I was at work. I saw the Blue Angels flying in the sky. That was something cool to see. And there's many photos and videos online if you didn't get a chance to see it. And then it's really been a whole year since we signed to run for office, May 1st. And it's what we've accomplished in 6 months for you guys, few months for me. It's just, I'm so thankful to be on council with you guys, that this city, and we have to remember residents come first, that they hired us to be up here. And it's just, I'm always thankful every day, and especially to be up here with you guys and with all the department heads and everyone that works for our city, because it's like, we gotta keep being together and connect to make the city a positive one. And lastly, I just want to say, God bless. Hope everyone has a safe Memorial Day weekend, and stay positive always. Thank you.
Next is Tony.
Huh? Tony?
Your turn, Tony.
Yeah, go.
All right. I just want to echo. I am. Can you hear me? I think I can
Yes,
hear
you're
you.
good.
Anyway, I want to echo everyone's comment. All right, everyone. But I want to thank from the bottom, from the city administrator all the way down to the janitor that works in Allen Park, for what heck of a job they're doing today as we speak. I want to thank you. I want to thank all the first responders, especially the nurses and doctors that working in the hospitals all over the United States, and here in Allen Park for sure. And I'll tell you, I want to congratulate all the inner city Baptist Church seniors, the Cabrini seniors, and the Allen Park seniors. They deserve a big hand of applause for them guys. I know we can't do it now, but we will. And I want to thank all the servers and veterans that served this great country. Remember, I came from Italy. I was only 12 years old. And I volunteered to go to Vietnam. And look, I became councilman, and I became a mayor. So I tell the seniors, you can never be wrong. You will end up with something if you try and stay focused on what you're doing. And I want to thank all the council people here tonight for working together. And that's where it should be. God bless you, all of you. Be safe. Stay safe. Stay 6 foot apart and wash your hands, and make sure you're put that lotion in your hand every time you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Dan.
All right, I'm gonna try to do something that's hard for me, and that's keep it short. But I do have Pekin Tokyo waiting for me in the other room, and I don't know, Mr. Blair just cued me in that they are reopened. So I'll send a little shout out there to again support our local businesses. That is exciting. I'm excited for that. I'd like to kind of echo the congratulations that all of my colleagues put out there. Although considering my participation in my Zoom meetings with my students, I doubt very few students will actually see these, unfortunately. Hopefully, maybe we can figure out a way that we can edit it down and get them out to them. Because I think that I really appreciate the wise words from my fellow council people, and I think it'd be a shame if they didn't get a chance to see them. So I want to, again, I've got a special place in my heart for my Jaguars, go Jags, but also to the Monarchs and the Chargers as well. And I'd also like to, we actually have a couple of former Cardinals on this chat. And so I would like to give a congratulations to our Melvindale our Melvindale graduates and our Southgate Titans as well. So congratulations to you all. And if I have one piece of advice for you, it's something that I'll steal from one of my favorite authors, Kurt Vonnegut, in one of his numerous graduation speeches that he gave. He talked about an uncle that he really admired, and any time that he was out enjoying himself, he said, "Well, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is." And in all sincerity, if this isn't nice, what is? I'm genuinely, we're experiencing a really difficult time, and we're having some problems with technology. I think we can all kind of share in that frustration. But isn't this nice that we're all able to sit here and see each other's faces and conduct the business of our government? And Councilman Valerius has a dog. That's wonderful. All right. So I will encourage everybody, especially our seniors, that if these are difficult times, but when you're enjoying yourself, when you're happy, take a second and pause and reflect on that, because that's truly a magical thing, and life does fly by too quick. So it's way too short to not appreciate when you're happy. So I would encourage that for all of our seniors and for all my fellow residents as well. So everybody, thank you and good night, and I'll see you in a week.
Okay. Maureen, do you have anything?
I just would like to congratulate all of our graduates and wish them the best in their future, and tell them to stay strong, and hopefully this will all pass soon. That's it.
It will.
Mike.
He's babysitting.
Mike, is there anything you need to say?
Yep, I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in. God bless you and good night.
There you go.
Well, there's not much left to say. It was interesting listening to all of you speak, because you all said something that rang true to me, to persevere and to keep going, to make sure that your life is continuing education. You learn something new every day, no matter what. Sometimes you're forced to learn something. Sometimes something pops up just because you're interested. This whole year, ever since this started, just seems to be rather surreal. It's, I can't believe that we've had Easter. I can't believe that we've had Mother's Day. I can't believe that Memorial Day is coming, because you just didn't get together like you normally do. It's as though it hasn't happened yet. It's as though we haven't had Easter yet. We haven't had Mother's Day yet. It's passing by on the calendar, but it really hasn't happened. And that's just the sense I have, is that it all needs to happen. But it's not, and we have to plan for next year. I congratulate all of the graduating seniors, high school, college. You have much to look forward to. This is going to be a very memorable year for all of you. It's something you will never, ever forget. And hopefully you'll learn how much you can deal with in life, having gone through this. I guess there isn't too much more inspirational to say. I agree with my fellow councilmen and women. The importance of always being open to learning new things. I know it's kind of a sad time though. I mean, I've got a graduating senior from college that was so looking forward to attending that ceremony, but perhaps sometime in the future. We shall not give up on trying to figure out something where we can recognize and honor all of our graduates. Again, I think you're all aware we're doing that banner. I think Charles' idea about using the marquee to display our congratulations to all the the Allen Park residents who are graduating is a great idea. I have made contact with all the art department teachers at the high school, the community school, and the middle school, and I think we're starting to get some work moving on that, and the DDA is involved, and I think you will start to see some artwork popping up at the movie theater. I don't know what the timing is, but I know that they're working on that. With that, just ask everybody to hang in there, stay safe, practice like what Tony said, make sure you wash your hands, keep your distance, and don't forget to have a mask with you wherever you go. Leave 1 or 2 in the car. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion. I saw Pam's listening. Pam's like motion, I think Tony seconded, right? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds right.
Now we have to have a roll call.
Who seconded it? Lolly?
Lolly.
Okay, so I have a motion by Councilwoman Sykes, supported by Pro Tem Lally, to adjourn the meeting at 7:31. And we'll start with Mayor McLeod,
Yes.
Councilman Schlack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sykes.
All right, if we have to, yes. I was enjoying being with all of you. So yes, my answer is yes. So,
She wants to see more of Matt's dog.
that's really it. And your cat.
Or my cat.
Oh, so the answer Mike was
Councilman
yes.
Valerius.
Yeah.
Right here. Okay, Councilman Blevins.
Yes.
Pro Tem Lally
Oh, definitely, yes, thank you.
and Councilman Lloyd.
Yes. Yes.
All right, the meeting is adjourned at 7:31.